Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Transport Fever 2, where I'm having fun with virtual trains, trucks, planes, ships, and try to not go bankrupt in the process. Before I begin today's episode, I'd like to remind you to hit that subscribe button and use the bell to stay up to date with my latest content. I would also like to encourage you to join my Discord server, where you can interact with me and other Transport Fever fans, talk about the game and mods, or just chill. You can find link in description down below this video. Right, so welcome back in another episode where I'm trying to build my transport empire along a virtually random generated map. It's obviously the biggest map you can get in the game, well, at least unofficially, because you need to modify game files to be able to generate megalomaniac size maps. So come forth and join me in today's episode and today's adventure on our map, or in this virtual world that we are trying to build. Right, so without any further ado, let's just switch to the game window. I think the game is paused, oh my goodness me. Right, so I unpaused the game. We are now looking at a beautiful station of Chertsey. Yes, there we go. That is a Chertsey. It's rather silent station, and I don't think there is any train due to arrive in any time in the future. There are trains running. There are definitely some trains running. We got our new refurbished tram network, which is operating nicely, I'd say. Right. However, at some point I considered the need of use of that river. Yes, and I've been thinking, well, it's a nice bit of infrastructure, I'd say natural infrastructure, and it would be a waste not to use it. The problem is that two towns that would eventually get connected by this bit of infrastructure, or actually two towns that are actually connected with that infrastructure, doesn't happen to be a great trade partners, if I'd say it that way. Chertsey seems to be demanding the same products as Carterton do, so that pretty much eliminates any sort of trade potential. However, that river can be a nice shortcut for the passengers, because right now they don't seem to have much alternatives. They can board a train at Chertsey, go through Shaftesbury, Seaton, and then reach Carterton. It's awful long route, and it's very ineffective. And yes, of course, I could technically try to make another branch of mainline and go along that river. But again, it's a little bit ineffective if you ask me. Why would I build a new expensive bit of infrastructure that will just transport passengers between two towns that can't really trade well together? And perhaps, while in the future I could find some trade potential or transport potential for cargo on that river. Today we will focus mostly on passengers. It's something that I can easily start transporting, and definitely that river will be very, very handy in that endeavor. Right, anyway, Chertsey seems to have a perfect spot for shipping, and that's this place. I can easily fit a small passenger port, and well, perhaps I could even fit that port with some sort of cargo module just for the future use. We won't use it today, but definitely transporting passengers will make this area much more lively. The things that we need to modify though is this bridge. It looks really awful, so that's one of the things that we will do in today's episode. Then we will carry on to Carterton, and we will try to put some ports in here as well, so we can transfer goods and most importantly passengers between those two towns. And that's pretty much gonna be today's episode. So we won't focus on trains for once. We'll let the game run for a bit and perhaps unlock some new cool technologies for us. Right, so we got some fish. Yeah. There's quite a lot of fish. Too bad we can't just smack like some sort of fishing station and actually send people to produce a brand new food product. But well, who would have thought that about that? Anyway, we got waterway and there is a whole bunch of things that I've never used, which is cool. It's something new, that's for sure. So we got passenger harbor, and that's modular harbor for passenger ships. And there is also a cargo harbor. Fantastic. I need the passenger one though. So the passenger harbor can eventually be put even here, and I think we could make a good use of it. I will definitely have to redo that road though. It looks really awful, and I feel like we could refurbish this place a little bit. Yeah, that's the good naming. So I want this harbor to be as much to the middle of the river as possible. So I will push it away a little bit. Okay, there we go. We will definitely build a new road system. So let's see. There is only one terminal, and only one terminal is needed. But I would definitely like to expand this harbor with perhaps a cargo module. Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. Right. So if I would put a cargo module, perhaps. Oh dear. How is this going to look? Okay, so I can turn it around, but nothing else, which is a little bit of a bummer again. Right, so if I put it there, and there is like a... do I want large dock? I could technically install a large dock. I'm not sure if I will be able to use a large dock, but I can surely install it. It doesn't look that bad. Definitely, it doesn't look that terrible. But when it comes to passengers, I'm really unhappy about how this is. Yeah, I can install it like that. I could technically install it like that, which would make sense. It would definitely make some sense. But I think small passenger boats will be much more appropriate for that. Right, and pedestrian entrance is definitely something that I would like to use on both of these stations. Right, fantastic. Now, the question is, would I like to extend that pedestrian entrance, for example, up to here, and create that big empty space that could be eventually... No, I can't use that. I could eventually remove this bit. And if I would perhaps do that... Oh, and it's not connecting. Okay, okay. It's still okay. It still looks good, I guess. So we can leave it as it is. I'll leave this massive port. Hopefully none of the ships will try to use this side. And it's only this side that is going to be used. That's my hope. Worst case scenario, I can do some terraforming. In fact, I could do that. So if I will smoothen up, let me grab this squarey one. If I could just adjust brush size. Oh, okay, it's always at an angle, which is a little bit of a bummer. If I could just raise the terrain to remove any water. From this side, yes. That looks a bit awful, but if I will now smoothen the terrain, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, okay, that looks much better. It's not perfect, but it surely looks better. We can leave it like that. It will look nicely. So hopefully, because there is no access, ships will automatically get assigned to this port. It's a large port. I'm not sure if we even have large waterways. Is there navigable waters? Okay. It doesn't say if... It doesn't really say if those are like large navigable waters, small. I don't think there is any sort of classification to that. So it's all about the size of the port, and this port is absolutely massive. It could eventually accommodate a large ships. So in the future we might see some large ships being used in my network. Right, I would like Medium Street to be connected to this station. How does it look like? Well, it looks amazing. It's surprisingly good. Right. The question is... Oops, that is not exactly what I want. Right, right. That's a bit of a bummer. I think we need to rebuild a few bits and pieces of this beautiful town. Right, I will connect this road together, and it creates that nice incline, which is very needed. But now I need to get rid of this bit. So let me pause the game. Let me delete this bit of track. I think we can move those stops further to the south. But what I would like to do is to connect this road, and I want it to be a bit more straight. As much as it can be, at least. Right. Right. So that's how it's gonna be. Now it's the good question. Should I just leave this tram stop, or should I move it to the south? Or perhaps should I just expand it? Because what I could do is to make this tram stop much, much bigger. That is a good question. I think I could do that. So that's going to be 2 stops that are going to be removed, but I'm going to replace them. I will put buildings. I will put those, perhaps those nice stops. So there's going to be tram track, yes. Era B, no. Era A. Yes, ground, concrete, no, gravel B, no. Okay, let's leave it like that. That's gonna be 30 meters platform with entrance, yes please. Place lamps cargo, yes, okay. And now, if I would put this station perhaps somewhere closer, like for example in here. Let me just make it parallel to the road. There we go. So if I would do that, for example, which automatically moved this station into this place. If I would now configure that, create a street connection on this side, and then just connected that at an angle to create this unique road. Okay, that would be something new, something that I haven't done. Right, tram track, yes please. Okay, maybe not at an angle, but that would be the way. I can even leave that bit to create that unique look that there used to be at tram tracks, but they have now been removed. It happens in some of the old towns where there are bits of tracks randomly in random places, just to indicate the history of those towns, or because to reduce the cost of rebuilding the road, because if there is no need to actually remove the track, why would anyone do so? So we won't do that. We'll leave those tracks where they are, and hopefully those tram roads have been adjusted. Yes, they did. We just need to modify a few bits and bobs. So let me edit this line. So this is a Springfield road, and it goes to Terminal 1, and I want it to go to Terminal 2. There we go. Everything's sorted, and now our trams will stop right next to our shipping port. So this area is now done. The town will nicely expand, and we got a nice tram stop right next to our shipping port. We do not have any cargo station, but at this moment we don't need any. I just built this port to make sure that everything is well designed before we will even start to transport any cargo. I don't think we will do that anytime soon anyway. Right, now we need to modify this bridge, because obviously we need a high bridge. Definitely we need some tall bridges, but I don't want this bridge to look like that. They look really awful. They are really awful. So what I would like to have instead is a nice incline on the ground level. And perhaps, do I even want this bridge in here? Right, it just connects to those industries, so I don't want any sort of massive roads in here. I think I can do with normal roads, like a medium country roads, perhaps. Right. So, we don't want this to go down, we want this to go up. And we would like to have a ground end. Okay, that looks nice. But I don't think it's high enough for a bridge. There we go. Yeah, that is good. That is good. It's a bit high incline, so perhaps if I would lower it by one jump, is that gonna be enough for the bridge? It's still quite of an incline, so that's gonna be a bit of a climb, but I think it should be okay. Right, so now hopefully we could go on a even ground. There we go. For some reason it just wants to go. I'm not sure if that's intended, but it looks like the bridge is bending in the middle. I'm not real fan of it. If I could just make it look more like it's on even ground. Well, that looks pretty neat. I just now need a better bridge. So that's one type of a bridge that we could use. Nope. Well, that is a bit terrible. This kind of bridge. Well, I don't think we got enough clearance underneath this one. This one will definitely create some clearance for us, but it looks pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I think that's the best clearance we can get. A bit of a bummer though. Yeah, that's definitely bad. That's bad. That's bad. Nope. 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 Definitely no. A steel bridge. Nope. Yeah, so that's the best bridge we can get. Hopefully it's gonna be tall enough for our needs. So what I can do... I think that's gonna be good enough. Oops. Okay, so that's a bit of a... Right, so I got a bit of navigable waters right in between. And the question is that going to be enough? That's a good question. That is a really good question. If I would raise this bridge, how is this going to change that? Not much, to be fair. Right. Let's hope that this bit will be enough of navigable waters to sort it out, because I don't think we got any other bridge that could fix our problems. Well, technically this one, but it looks really awful, is it? Unless... if we could... possibly... yeah, I think this would be... well, this one or this one would be the best bridges we got. Although... I really hate to build bridges in this game, honestly. It's... oh my goodness me. If I could get rid of this pillar, it would be perfect clearance for me. But yeah, having a straight bridge might not be a good idea here. Right, let's do this. I'll take a risk that this bridge is gonna be good enough. Right, and now this road needs to go down and merge with that road. There we go. And I want it to be, yeah, ground connection. So that's how it's gonna go. Maybe not the most beautiful, but definitely much better looking than it used to be. A small ship should definitely fit underneath this bridge. So that's one side of the story. I might eventually think about getting some bridge mods and replace this bridge with something more fitting, especially that it's rather modern bridge built in 1878. But well, I guess some sacrifices needs to be done. Right, so that's one end of our story. Let's see what we can do on the other end. So this is a beautiful town of Carterton. And it offers us a little bit different challenges than Chertsey does. So when it comes to Carterton, I don't really have to worry about bridges, even though there is one. That bridge is not going to be a big of a deal. Why is that? Well, because our shipping is not going to interfere with such bridge. So we can pretty much build our port on this side of the town or on this side of the town. I think to make things lively, I would lean towards this side. So the ships would go past the town and stop before this bridge. We can easily fit everything in here, expand this road, or basically widen this road, and create a nice hub for our shipping. And then we can add another tram stop and redirect those trams to actually include our port in their journey. Let's, for example, move this tram stop more towards here or towards here. Let's add another one somewhere here. That would be perfect. So I think that's where we are going to put our infrastructure for that. Right. So where do we want things to be? We definitely would like to have some cargo harbor, and that's from what we are going to build from. So if I would build cargo harbor like that, well, there's much more space on this side, so I could definitely go with this kind of harbor. And I could even create a harbor that expands into that massive lake, because we got plenty of space. So let's see how we can expand this port. Definitely I would like to have some passenger building attached to it, because it would be a shame to not have some. So let's see if I can turn this building to make it look nicer. Okay, so the doors are on the side, which is again a bit of a... oh, okay, doors are here. Okay, so if I would put doors in here, that already looks pretty neat. And I can either have small dock, just like that, which is not a bad idea, or I could have a large dock on this side. And it's also not a bad idea, because I got plenty of space. The question is, why would I have a large passenger dock? Perhaps a small dock would be more appropriate. That's a good question. Yeah. Port modules are a bit complicated, but let's build a small passenger dock. Let's remove that small cargo dock and let's replace it with large cargo dock instead. So if I would put it, for example, just like that, there we go. We can have a massive cargo shipping approaching this cargo part of the dock. And then we can have a small passenger shipping approaching this dock. Eventually, if passenger transport will expand in the future, which might happen, we shall expand this port a little bit more. But we definitely won't need that much, because there will be just a handful of boats or ships moving around. We will mostly focus our efforts on building train infrastructure, and eventually later on expand to perhaps some air infrastructure. Right. Anyway, this port desperately needs some configuration as well. Okay. So there is one landing, and there is... Oh, okay, so I need to design where the ships will actually park. So I can do that on this one. Question is, I'll probably need that on this side as well, is it? Let me just quickly configure that. So I need... Okay, so I need landing on this side for large ships, and landing on this side for small ships. Okay. That explains everything. I could eventually do that and put like a massive port for passengers as well. But that's awfully close to that bridge. Right. I'll leave it that way. Or perhaps what I could do... I'm really tempted to have this port expanding into this area instead of creating that awful pier that expands from the building. Because we need to save as much space as we can. Okay. So I will quickly modify this bit. Let's build passenger port that goes like that. And landing that goes like that. There we go. There won't be any landing on this side because I won't be running two passenger lines. But hopefully the ships will approach underneath that bridge and have enough clearance to actually maneuver and get onto that pier. I hope I didn't put that too close to the actual bridge. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a problem. Anyway, let's get back to Carterton. We now got our nice and lovely port. Let's configure it once more. And let's get a pedestrian entrance. Because that's definitely needed. Okay, those are nicely done. We got those beautiful entrances. And now we can lay a road along this place. Yes. Medium street with tram tracks should actually do the job. Tram tracks will definitely be essential in my plans. Because we need to expand this road. The question is, how do I want this tram tracks to go? Should it be just in and out tram tracks, or should it be a loop? Might in fact be in and out. If I would do something like that and just add a tram stop in here, would it work? Well, it's not a bad idea. It could definitely work. But is it going to look good? Is it going to work good? Is it going to be something that I would like to keep in the long term? I could. Right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not think about it too much. I will just create that end stop on this side. Because why not? It's the only use for this road that I have, after all. Having 2 stops? Yeah, I think 2 stops will do the job well. So let's do it. Okay, so that's set up. Now I need to edit the tram lines that we got. So we got counterclockwise, so that's the drive, and then South Street, so that's how I need to add it. So from the drive I need this tram to go to Upper Carterton and then head back to South Street. So which platform I would like to use? In Upper Carterton, I would like to use Terminal 2. Yeah. So it will just come back. Fantastic. As for Carterton clockwise, from South Street, I would like you to go to Upper Carterton and then get back to the drive. And that sounds like a good idea. Okay, we'll leave it like that. We now got this port included in our tram routes, which is good. It will extend the time that it takes for this tram to actually reach its destination. However, it will also encourage people to move around the town a little bit more. A little bit more in general. Mostly because there's another route that people can take to travel. And that is exactly what we want. Right. Shipping needs also a shipyard. Yes, we definitely need a shipyard. A good place to buy ships. Now the question is, where do we need to put that shipyard? Okay, so shipyard has to be placed like that. I can put it somewhere in the middle. It doesn't exactly has to be... Well, it doesn't have to be at the town of origin, which is nice. So that's where I'm gonna place it. I will create a new line. So that's gonna be Carterton Port. All the way Chertsey Port. And this is going to be, oh my goodness me, ship. Let's call it passenger shipping. And let's call the line. How do we going to call it? Well, we can be very simplistic and call it Carterton to Chelsea. But that's gonna be the only line. So let's call it the boat. Yeah. Let's call it just simply the boat. And the boat needs to have appropriate color, like yellow. Obviously, yeah. Or perhaps, what kind of color we would like to have? Light blue. There we go. Let's name, yeah, let's do it like that. Good. What I would like to load, that's the good question. This one will load and unload passengers only, because that's the boat. And it needs to be appropriate. Okay, so now that we have lane or like everything selected, we shall buy a new vehicle. So let's see what we got in stock, because I've never used boats. So we got 3 passenger ships. We got Rigi, which is a small boat. Top speed 25 kilometers per hour. Well, definitely the game doesn't translate things into knots. But yeah, 25 kilometers per hour is pretty slow. Wilhelm I, which can do amazing 22 kilometers per hour. Or Dunara Castle. And that's the first ship to offer a regular passenger cargo service. Okay. The question is, does this thing class as a small? Oh, okay. The size is large. We can't use this one then. Right. That is a little bit of a problem. So, I'm leaning towards Rigi because I got only small ports. So I can't use any like large ship, for example, like this one. That could allow me to take 100 passengers. I can send only 70 passengers. And the question is which one I would like to use. They were both available at 1850. So we got German Wilhelm I. And it has loading speed of 20, top speed of 22. It's pretty slow, sluggish. Yeah, and it weighs a lot. Right, so I'll use this one. Compared to Wilhelm I, it's a motorboat. It's absolutely fast. So I'm going to buy... How many I should buy? I will buy one. I will start from buying only one of them and see how it goes. I will send it to our passenger line, and that's pretty much it. We can now board our nice ship and observe it during our first journey. I won't be highlighting the entire journey, but well, today's episode might be a bit shorter as well, but that shouldn't be a problem. So that's our Rigi. It looks kind of interesting, I'd say. It's was it wood powered? I think it was wood powered according to description. Should have read that. But yeah, I think it's like it's definitely a steam engine. I wouldn't expect anything else in 1850. So we need to wait a little bit until this boat will start to bring us any profit, and most importantly until this boat will start actually moving cargo, because it first needs to get into its first destination, and it's gonna take a while before it can do such thing. It's definitely going to be a long road. It has, yeah, there is quite a distance to cover. So the question is, should I just clone this one and attempt to send another one when it reaches its destination? I'm not sure if I'm going to be moving 70 passengers, because that's quite a lot. But I'm also hoping that if it kicks out, and if there's going to be eventually high amount of passengers moving between those two towns, we can make a big buck out of this route and send more and more ships. I'm not sure. Anyway, as we are now watching our beautiful boat on its first journey, I think it's about good time to say farewell and goodbye. I know this episode was pretty short, but that was basically an idea on how to expand my network. We need to take small steps that will make significant difference. So I'm hoping that, again, this passenger shipping will make a lot of a difference for people living in this area. I don't have any ideas for cargo shipping yet. Again, just because both towns are using the same cargo and both of them can produce things locally. Not only that, but the maximum productivity that I could achieve at this moment is somewhat limited by transportation devices I could use. So until we hit years of 1910, 1920, I don't expect to do much of an expansion to my river route. However, it does have a massive potential. It's natural road that I could use, and there are bits where I could use a bigger ships. I definitely managed to fit those ships into well, ships. I managed to fit a harbor for it, so we can definitely transport larger amounts of cargo, and perhaps we will use it. I'll have a look, I'll think about it. I will definitely consider a bit more extensive use for that. It might bring me some nice revenue, and it will definitely bring some refreshment to my company, because like water branch is surprisingly small, providing that I tend to go by name of Admiral. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to get informed about my new content, hit that notification bell button, and don't forget to share your comments down below. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.